Right, welcome back. I've got a video, obviously, that I'm going to do now. Wasn't planned. It's you're going to come on a little bit of a journey with me, I think, on this one, on a little bit of fault finding and trying to rectify the situation. Originally, I had planned. I'd been kind of sat there thinking there's not an awful lot that I've got to go with at the moment. I've got a couple of little tweaks I need to do to the Bonneville, or quite fancy doing. Some mirrors, different mirrors to mount on there, which is no biggie. I've also decided I'm going to try and, or at least have a look at mounting a smaller bottom mounted headlight on the front, which will, that in itself is not difficult, but the rerouting and neatly doing all the wiring and whatnot is going to be a bit of a challenge. So that might be the next video, or that's what I thought was going to be the next video, until on my way home from work, the old DRZ conked out. On the way to work, it had been the symptoms, I would say, fine, started up fine, idling fine, and a couple of miles down the road, just a very short kind of, almost like a fuel starvation. Or those of you with carb bikes, you know, when your tank's almost empty and just before you get that kind of warning thing sometimes that means you're going to flick over into your reserve. Kind of felt like that, and then came back on. It wasn't fuel because had about half a tank at the time. Does it, whether it's in reserve, whether it's on prime, or whether it's on so yes, this kind of weird, kind of like, feels like just running out of fuel and then it will jerk back in again. So trying to figure out what it potentially could be. My plan was to ride home then that night, and just it kind of felt like maybe like a vacuum hose was kinked or something along those sort of lines, nothing too severe. But on the way back from work, it did it again and didn't start up again. It's cranking over really strong, fresh battery in it and everything. It's just not firing. So I'm guessing we've got, I'm going to double check we've got fuel coming through. I'd be surprised if the carbs were bunged up, unless it was a freak little something blocking something up in the carbs, because they've been on and off so often and cleaned out. But we'll check that there's fuel. Spark's going to be a big one, I'm guessing that. My gut feeling is it's something to do either with plug or possibly coil. Just kind of that gutty feeling on it. But it's, it's going to be a bit of a exploration and a bit of fault finding, and hell, figured I might as well do the video. It's Wednesday night. Did I say it was Wednesday night? Anyway, it is Wednesday night. So we've got the bike back. Thankfully I've got some neighbours that were very, very kind with the van, so we drove sort of 15 miles back to pick the bike up. Luckily I broke down near a Tesco's, so I was able to leave it in the car park, but I didn't want to really leave it there for too long. Yeah, we managed to lift it into the back of a van and get it back. But I'm going to tear stuff apart now, midweek. Hopefully then that means if there's any bits I need to get, I can get them ordered in for the weekend and get myself there we go rolling again. Right, I'll show you what we mean with the bike. Right then, so I've got plenty of juice in the bike. Battery's brand new battery, fully charged. I don't know if we'll get anything now. Let's see. That's interesting. Well, as you can hear, it is at least starting up now. It wasn't starting up at all. One of the reasons I wondered if it might be the core was because it breaks down when it gets hot. But yeah, it's obviously not running right. It sounds kind of fuel starvation-y, so that's going to be my first sort of port of call. So I think, well, we have definitely got fuel. Actually, I checked the line from the fuel tank to the carb, so we've got that vacuum line. That's all fine. That's in good order. I'm going to try starting it with the fuel cap off. Sometimes there's weird things like that you can get a bit of a lock. Interesting, so you give it a bit of beat. It's interesting on that sort of about quarter throttle, it's not really enjoying it. So time to have a little. Okay then, so tank's off, fuel tap's all fine, definitely getting a flow of fuel from that point at least to the carb, but let's see if we're just getting a good solid spark anyway. So we'll crank it over whilst hopefully this will pick up. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you could that picked up, but there's definitely a spark coming off there, so that's cool. Where are we here? It's the ignition coil. Now I've ordered one of those up anyway because it was $14.99, not an awful lot of money. So I've ordered one of those just in case, because it could be that as that warms up, that's breaking down and this is causing our problem. But yeah, for the sake of getting that by the weekend, if it does turn out to be that, I thought I'd order that anyway. But now we'll have a little look at the carb down here and see if there's any issues or anything untoward there. And incidentally, also just had a look around the air filter, see if there's anything that could be possibly gunging stuff up there, but that's all clean, fine and dandy. Even with all the shitty rain and weather we've had, nothing's got in there. So that I think we can eliminate as well. Here, this is the easiest way to try and get it on the camera, in the mirror. There we go. Still got a fuel screw in there, our fuel air mixture screw, so that hasn't fallen out and gone, which I kind of didn't think it would be anyway, because it shouldn't really affect the idle circuit. That's just going to be when you give it a bit of beans. But there we go, so that's in there. So we carry on. Okay, so carb's off. Just a process of elimination. Just open it up and just see if there's anything untoward. Yeah, as I say, just a process of elimination. Okay, so the bottom end and all the jets are clean and clear and nothing untoward there. Float height's alright. So I thought I'd look up the diaphragm end. This is where I kind of thought if something's going to go wrong, it might be up here. And straight off the bat, as soon as I take it off, you can see just there, in there, the little that's like the little clip that holds down the spaces in the needle is loose. And I've got fuel come up into there, so that's obviously definitely not sitting right. The diaphragm's okay, that was all seated correctly, there's no rips or tears, but that is definitely not how it should be. So that, I suspect, could well be our issue. That's just worked its way loose. So let's get some needle nose pliers. So on this little bad boy, there we go. That should be quite a hard pull to pop that out. So that might be as easy of a fix as that. Ironically, the spare coils arrived, but as I said, that was only 14 quid. So that's not too bad. That's always good to keep as a spare. A few more things which point to this direction. If you can see down there in the kind of centre of the screen there, where that white spacer washer is, you can also see that right above it,
Hopefully, it's a bit of a glare there. Can you see the two, there's two little washers in there as well, which have managed to flip and jam themselves on the side there, obviously with the needle going up and down. So, yeah, it's kind of looking hopeful that this is what the issue is. Okay, so all the parts were jumbled up in there, so I couldn't remember what the exact order was. My memory is pretty bad these days. So I've just run inside and just had a look online and just clarify it. So that's what I just scribbled down while I was upstairs, and this is how it translates into slightly more clearer look. So we've got the big spring, the sort of bung thing, the little spring that sits on the end there. You've got a thin washer which then sits on top of there, which is the clip on the needle, and then underneath that you've got the plastic washer which slides up to there, and then a fat metal washer underneath there. That's kind of how it's shown, but those two items are going to be there with the circlip kind of there, and then that goes on. So yeah, hopefully that just make this a little bit easier for anyone who has done the same thing or has pulled apart your carb and can't remember. Might just be handy. Needle, thick washer, spacer, circlip, thin washer and spring, and then that'll sit on top. So I've got to try and get all that in there now, down here.
Oh, let's try that again. Oh dear. That hit me right in the fucking face. Oh, I didn't lose the spring though. What? That's
right. Don't think it's quite solved yet. I was looking at it and I was thinking, well, how has that popped back out again? Was it just not fixed in? And I had a look down there and found this little bugger. And in there, let's see if we can get it in the light. I don't know if you can pick out there. You can see like 3 other of those tangs, if you like, and the bottom one which is broken off. So they're like the clips like that. Well, there should be 4 of them like that, which that fits into and holds. So that was just loose in there. So that's broken. So that's not holding that really in place. So I could put it all back together again, but probably within a few minutes of riding I'm going to be back in the same position. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of research and see if I can pick up another diaphragm and needle guide, which is a bit of a pain in the arse actually, a bit annoying. There you go. Right, so I've come in and done a fair bit of searching to try and find the part I need. Well, I know which part I need, but I should get a part number. I found it, and yeah, it's a bit of a pain. It's not exactly cheap either, really, but let's show you. It's obviously this one here, number 16, and that's the piston valve they call it here, or valve piston. And the Suzuki part is 13501-29FAO. Apparently you can get a Kawasaki part as well, which is 1612-6, that's an S010. I forget which bike that was on, but some places say the Kawasaki part's cheaper. I haven't, in the UK anyway, the Suzuki parts come up cheaper. Most of the price I'm finding, that's the cheapest I had found in the UK, 48.44. They're all around about 50 quid. But I have, God, you see I've been doing a fair bit of searching. Oh yeah, I've actually managed to order one from Germany. So that's the part. And this one was £18.80, so 24.90 euros, and €6. That's coming out at about £4.53 delivery. So that's a little bit more palatable. Still really fucking expensive for a piece of plastic, but there you go. That is how these things roll, I suppose. But okay, so there we go. Can't really do much more now until the part arrives, so just going to wait now. Hopefully it shouldn't be too long. It'd be nice if it was next week sometime, but a fairly
quick and easy sort of fix. 99.9% sure that's what it was. So as soon as it comes, it's just a case of reassembling the carb and popping it back in, and we should be laughing, fingers crossed. But there we go. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.